When we are doing a titration, we need to think about how we can know that we have reached our equivalence point. One way to do that is to measure the pH throughout time. We then would make a graph of it, and we'll look at graphs of different combinations of acids and bases in the upcoming videos. The other way is to use an acid-base indicator. These are one color in basic solutions, another color in an acidic solution, so they can tell us when we have a rapid or big change in pH. The pH at which a specific indicator changes color is called the endpoint. And we can see for several different indicators here what pH they change color at and what color we could expect in solutions that are either acidic or basic. The goal in choosing an indicator is to choose one that has an endpoint, a pH of color change that corresponds to the equivalence point. From previous videos, we remember that not all neutralizations end with a pH of 7. If we have a strong reacting with a strong, our pH would be 7 at the end of the neutralization. So our equivalence point would have a pH of 7, and we'd look for an indicator changing around 7. A strong acid with a weak base has a lower pH at the end point, or excuse me, at the equivalence point at the end of the neutralization, whereas a strong base with a weak acid is higher. We'll see in the graphs that all of these have a fairly steep and rapid change in pH, so we don't need to always know the exact pH at the equivalence point, just predict what it should be close to. But by understanding our indicators a little bit better, we can choose one that is appropriate and match it up. We'll see in later videos exactly how the pKa value of acids and bases helps us to know what we have more of, but it is important to point out that all of these indicators are actually weak acids or bases themselves. They accept and donate hydrogen ions, and they change colors as that happens. The pK, pKa, or pKin value of those corresponds to the range in which they would change colors. So as we are choosing a indicator, we can either look at a chart or know about their pKa values to match it up with the equivalence point that we are looking at.